prove themselves to be the superior member of that team there. But taking a look at the bans, it's going to be Galio and Kalista on the side of 100 Thieves, and Counterlogic Gaming kind of playing tug of war with my heart here. I love seeing the Zoe ban, but the Skarner ban just breaks me, man.
Yeah, Skarner definitely going to find a lot more time up in the first ban phase here. Talking to a couple of the junglers actually about the little things that went unnoticed. Yes, the stun now is a lot longer, but because the stun is longer, you also get more super juiced time from the, you basically get that Spire buff during the stuns. You can also chain them and reduce the cooldown even more. It's just, one little change, yeah, definitely snowballed the champion up to #1 pick priority for the jungle, and that's why we see him there. The other thing, I was just doing the lounge with Sven and Mithy, and they're talking a lot about mid lane bans. It's pretty much the hotness right now here for phase 1. We see a lot of them here, but the AD carry is starting to get picked up.
And if you're talking about mid lane bans and you're talking about Counterlogic Gaming, you're talking about Aurelion Sol pretty much every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year. This champion gets banned away from Huhi. We've seen what he can do on it before. We're not going to get to see that here today. Gangplank also banned out as the Thieves go for Tristana first, and Counterlogic Gaming responds with Ezreal and Sejuani, both of which we've seen a lot of.
Yeah, all of these picks pretty prolific so far here in the current meta. Ezreal is a very safe bottom lane. You leave a lot of options open for yourselves. You know, that could open the door for Biofrost roaming. Are they going to be able to leave Stixxay alone down there and try and get Biofrost back out on the field? There's been a lot of talk ever since Biofrost joined this team about how much he focused on the communication aspect that TSM said they were kind of removing him for. And CLG members have been very outspoken, talking about, wow, yeah, he's actually really focused on that. He's a big shot caller. He adds a lot of information. So maybe we'll see some big plays out of him.
Sometimes that's all you need is that catalyst to improve some aspect of your game. If the team says, we're removing you for X, well, you're going to say, all right, I'm going to be the best at X now. We're going to make you eat those words.
I'll show you.
We're going to end up showing them what's up. But 100 Thieves, they end up picking up the Jax and the Ryze for themselves. Been seeing a lot of Jax in the jungle recently, and the response from Counterlogic Gaming, picking up Gnar before the second wave of bans come in.
All right, yeah, Jax kind of the fill-in tank here. We've seen him, a lot of them will go Cinder, Hulk, Trinity Force. Some of them have gone full tank. I'm not a big fan of that.
Me either. You know how I feel about those full tank builds.
Yep. Trinity Force definitely goes a long way in at least still being able to put out some threat on the backline, which is very important on champions like that. Now in the second ban phase, though, we are seeing a lot of the hard CC champions, these hard engage targeted from Counterlogic Gaming. They take out Alistar and Ornn. I really like these bans because they're trying to remove a lot of that playmaking from 100 Thieves. And when you're our team with Aphromoo and Meteos, and they've got all of these veterans on the squad, removing some of the playmaking tools from those players is definitely people have found success in that, in really weakening that mid game.
And 100 Thieves, their ban's going to be targeted towards Orianna and Braum, two champions with plenty of defensive capabilities loaded into their kits. We've seen Orianna break games open with shockwaves, but her peel capability, her fallback capability, also really huge, along with what Braum can do to disengage. And now it's up to Counterlogic Gaming to make a pick. They're going to go with Taric.
Yeah, Taric here, we've seen him used incredibly effectively in this team fight meta. When everybody's trying to run multiple tanks and they're hard committing to mid-game fights with full 5 members, one of the best ultimates in the game for team fighting like that is, of course, the Taric invulnerability that comes down. As long as you can time it effectively and you have champions like Sejuani where you can keep the enemies locked in that fight with your crowd control, you can really make use of that ability. Speaking of which, though...
Yep. You want to talk about locking somebody down with some crowd control? Run at him like a linebacker from 400 yards away and then charge up that decimate. Sion, going to get to see him for the second time today. The Thieves will be piloting that one into combat here. 5 more seconds to make that 5th and final champion selection. Who's it going to be for the support role? Bar.
Ooh. We are getting some more flavor picks coming out here. The crowd is liking it as well because Bard initiation into a Sion ultimate could definitely be a thing of beauty or a thing of great catastrophe, right?
Great disaster.
You can set up a lot of these plays, but the timing is definitely going to be close. Another thing is, like, I hope we, get the Sion train skin or the Transformer skin or whatever.
Yeah.
You want to call it?
Like a big old truck.
But I really want to see a Ryze ultimate started and Sion ulting across it to then get transported for a teleportation train.
That would actually be incredible amounts of coordination because of how fast that Sion goes. Now I really want to see this. The final pick on the side of CLG is going to be the Corki there for mid lane. We've seen more and more of him recently as well, talking about mid lane bans and how teams are focusing on that. That, of course, is going to open up the mid lane pool to a couple of champions a little bit further down the tier list, and Corki has started showing quite a presence.
Yeah, Corki definitely scales very well from the mid lane here. That's going to be a huge damage source. So CLG seem to have, again, we're setting up for the 5-on-5s. You have Sejuani initiation, Taric to prolong the 5-on-5, and plenty of DPS from the back line there. 100 Thieves, though, they do have more, creative tools at their disposal.
Yeah.
Sion ultimate as well as the passive. I mean, we saw it already today. Sion frontline, one of the best things about him, he dies, gets right back up.
You get another guy. Your guy dies, you got another guy. 6 versus 5. You just can't have all 6 of them at the same time. But talking about that Bard, though, I always loved watching Bard. One of my favorite support champions from a spectator point of view, because this champion can make such cool-looking plays, and at the same time, he's one of the only champs in the game that you can actively screw your team over with if you misplay it. It's just, there's so much of a heaven and hell crescendo between how good or bad a Bard can look. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Well, Aphromoo is definitely a seasoned Bard player, and everyone happy to see him on the champion again here. Let's get on to the Rift and see how it goes this time around. Will it be the godlike plays coming from Aphromoo, or is it going to be the missed timings?
Well, he already put one notch in his belt earlier this split when he went up against CLG the first time. He and this 100 Thieves roster, you talked about how they had a very promising start to the split, and a lot of people were really hype about these guys for the first couple of weeks because they were having some very impressive games, but like you said, 4-game losing streak now. They've lost some of that steam, and they need to start reclaiming it. When you do have such tight contention for those bottom playoff spots going towards the spring playoffs, every win's going to count, especially against a team like CLG, a team that you're going to be in direct contention for when it comes to those spots.
Definitely agree there. All of the teams are feeling that mid-split pressure. All right, let's see. He's collecting charms right now. Definitely big for the early game. And we'll see how Aphromoo gets to utilize his roam, because both supports have gone Ignite, and this is 8.3, so we're past the time of all the spellbook in bottom lane. A lot of supports have gone back to more effective keystones for the lane phase. Guardian there for Biofrost on Taric. It's always great, for the defensive capabilities, but Aphromoo's running Electrocute on Bard with his Ignite as well. So Aphromoo's looking for some kills.
I like that. Spellbook was fun to watch for a while, but when you had like 7 of them in a game, it was a little bit silly at a point. I'm glad they've toned those numbers back a little bit.
Yeah, since we're also talking about 8.3, we should say that this is the patch where the interaction between Zhonya's or the stopwatch was removed from Ryze.
Yay!
Even though Ryu is,
no more of that.
There with the Ryze in the mid lane, won't be able to get the free escapes. He does have the minion materializers as well for him, though, to help out with the push. And we may see him utilize his ultimate for roam purposes, not for escape purposes. And that's what we really do enjoy when Ryze is using the ultimate for cross-map plays or trying to make big Baron transitions and catch the enemy by surprise.
Using it offensively instead of just strictly for, okay, I'm in trouble, I got to get the hell out of dodge right now. Speaking of being in trouble, bottom side, Cody Sun going to be eating some damage there from Stixxay and Biofrost, but Aphromoo with the Electrocute plus the Ignite, returning a lot of damage of his own. You gotta respect what that Bard can do in lane.
Yeah, we have one summoner spell advantage now, though. Aphromoo with the early Ignite. See if that ends up mattering too much here. Stixxay starts to chug his potion and heal right back up here. That will be a potion lead for the AD carry. Is Cody Sun still holding on to his. Meanwhile, top lane, Ssumday getting the push with his Sion. And Darshan does ward for the classic jungler Krug trade that we see a lot of the times to see if the enemy jungler is coming up. So you don't want your jungler to fall behind the camp early on.
Yeah, losing those Krugs, pretty par for the course these days. Nobody likes to take them during the first rotation through the jungle. They're just so slow. They're so time consuming. They feel really bad. But when you move across the map and the only thing that's left when you can't gank the enemy guy is Krugs, you're like, well.
Exactly. We see them trade Krugs when Krugs are the only thing left.
That's pretty much the rule of Krugs. If there's literally nothing else to do, you can do Krugs.
Yeah, it goes from tier 1 is Raptor Camp. That's where you start.
Yep,
and
that's
then the
best.
bottom of the barrel are the Krugs. Meanwhile, mid lane, Ryu uses a lot of mana, but he gains this lane priority. You can see him posturing very offensively in this lane, super far up, trying to deny Huhi a little bit and eke out some more pressure. Meanwhile, Darshan does go pretty aggressive himself with the hyper proc.
Yeah, talking about positioning yourself very far forward, just getting up on the very edge of the turret range there to make sure that Ssumday's not allowed to have any more control in this lane than absolutely necessary. Sejuani up there taking those Krugs and that ward.
Yeah.
Going to spy that out.
That Krug trade is taking place now, and look at that, nothing else on the map. That's the only reason. They're just cleaning it up. They've also placed some of the early vision. You can see a lot of it is focused on the top part of the map here, between mid and top lane. And so that means the bottom lanes are just going to continue to farm. Aphromoo actually still in the bottom lane. He was, looking for some more of those Qs, constantly forcing Stixxay to dodge, as well as think about his mystic shots that he's trying to get out there for the CS. And it has started to take its toll. There are a few more minions on the 100 Thieves side, so Stixxay can catch up a little bit, but definitely a nice little lead there for the bottom lane.
Yep, small lead for them. You've got about 1 minion waves worth of lead in the mid lane as well there for Ryu up over Huhi. And top side, Ssumday's actually going blow for blow with Darshan, which, considering you're up against a Gnar, you're up against a champion that it's expected for him to get a lead. That's fantastic.
And Gnar did use the teleport first, so Darshan went back. He got the longsword and the extra Doran item along with some more sustain in the form of potions. And Ssumday now technically does have the teleport advantage, but probably just going to use that one to equalize.
Biofrost with a little bit of a stun onto Cody here. Takes some damage of his own as the explosive charge is strapped up to the top of him there.
And this is the situation that you want if you're the 100 Thieves side. When you're drafting these lanes and you're looking for the early pushes, they have now Aphromoo roaming there on the Bard. We just saw him going through the river. Meteos now invading, getting the deep vision now. This is the bonus of having the duo pushing lanes of mid and bottom. It kind of gives over this control. They've spotted out ReignOver. They can track him now for the majority of the game, and it makes it a lot easier for those lanes to continue to play aggressively.
Ooh, speaking of aggressive plays, Ryu getting up in the face of ReignOver there, utilizing those wards and that tracking that you're talking about to be as much of a nuisance as he possibly can. Biofrost, another stun here onto Cody. Stixxay doesn't want to go any further forward, not when Aphro can dish out damage like that.
Yeah, I mean, with that invade, although Ryu was really annoying for ReignOver and harassed him a little bit, ReignOver was going to go back to base anyway after that, and he did allow Huhi in the mid lane to get a full push on the minion wave, so give up a little bit of that pressure in mid lane. Meanwhile, bottom, we are going to have an all-in. Oh!
Man, these stuns are just landing time after time from Biofrost. Aphromoo and Cody Sun going to be forced back from that one. Cody taken very low, picks up a little cup of hot cocoa there to make him feel a bit better. Still got to be careful, though.
That's actually my personal favorite Bard skin. It makes it super easy to tell when the cocoa is fully done.
That's a good point. I can never tell when the other ones are done.
Yeah, see,
I'll never play them on ARAM. So.
You got marshmallows in there, you got the straw, everything's all cooked and ready, so you get the full heal. Whereas a lot of the other skins, it just slightly glows.
It's a shiny orb that becomes a shinier orb, and you don't know how shiny it's actually
My jungler brain doesn't work that way, so...
Right there with you, buddy. It's just I'm not well versed in the shrines. Ssumday face checking the brush. ReignOver here waiting for him. Tries to use the ulti to get himself away, but ReignOver popping the flash to interrupt that immediately. The CC coming down. Ssumday trying to flash over the wall, get himself out here, but not today. Ooh. The first blood for Huhi. The smooth escape from Darshan. And tragedy. Yeah, Ssumday's dead body.
That was actually one of the smoothest Sion kills I've seen in a long time. CLG execute that very, very well. And we'll note the little interactions here. So Sion, yes, you're always going to expect the ultimate to get away because it will remove any sort of possible disables. But ReignOver flashes right onto him because he's expecting this. So that causes the collision, which is going to end the ultimate. And then they have the CC layered right after that. Just so nicely, finishing the kill in time for a blast cone escape, and it all really worked out quite perfectly for CLG. Grabbing that first blood, now they've got this gold lead, but bottom lane had no part in that, and they're just continuing to farm down here.
Continuing to fall a little bit behind in CS as well, about 10 CS down still, so they do have to just be aware that that can't be allowed to become too much of a deficit, especially considering the fact that your opponent is
drop. The marshmallow drop. Blue buff trade-off, though, important as well. This is a package for Corki, and while early on, you do want to note...
That tricky blue buff juked him. All right, Huhi's got it now. He's ready to go. He's got the golden rockets. He's got the blue buff.
Ryu actually going to be the one to make the first move. So, yeah, even though he does have the golden rockets, your signifier there for the package, Ryu with the minion wave control, since blue buff was being handed off, made a little feint to the top side, but you could tell the communication was there. Darshan backs off. No play really available.
And there's what you normally see happen with the first Corki package every time. He holds it for a while. The threat of it is more dangerous than the actual use because everybody plays back, and he just uses it in lane because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, we may start to see a little bit more action brewing on the bottom side. We do have the level 6 for Bard. We do have the level 6 for Taric as well. So the support ultimates, which are the big game changers down in that lane, are available to be used. And Aphromoo is often roaming once again, trying to look for one of those openings, trying to get that vision control for the bottom side of the map.
Cinder Hulk also now completed onto ReignOver. I mean, he's plenty tanky in these early fights. If they decide to go for one, he can be that front line. Combining the health pool of the Cinder Hulk with the armor and magic resistance of the Frost armor means that he can get in there and soak plenty of blows before he actually is in any real danger. Plus, you've got Biofrost there with the defensive capability of the Taric ultimate. So both of these supports have such clutch save potential in this game. It's going to come down to execution. It's going to be all about which one of them's in the right place at the right time and has those interactions mechanically down. But we'll just have to wait. Time will tell who's going to execute properly. Right now, ReignOver looking to move through the enemy jungle, set down some vision of his own.
Also have a roam there halfway from Huhi.
All right, little rocket in the butt. As over the wall goes ReignOver, it's a full-on 2v2. Ryu gonna be in some trouble here. Stunned up, locked down, more damage from Huhi. Valkyrie forward, trying to get the damage down to Ryu here. Biofrost coming in, flashed into stun, and Huhi's got the kill. Two-shot barrage coming through just to make sure, but they don't even need it.
CLG snapped the trap shut there onto Ryu, and Meteos, they thought they had the extra advantage here with Meteos coming through the lane, trying to join with Jax, but very good execution once again in the early game there for Counterlogic Gaming, and they're looking pretty smooth so far. That was kind of the Ezreal bonus where you get to let your support roam very quickly. Biofrost was able to show up. He flashes to secure the kill. It does come at the cost of some more damage on that bottom lane turret, but Ezreal able to stay safe and farm decently.
And that was one of the big problems for CLG in the game we saw from them yesterday. It seemed like they just got completely dismantled in terms of their macro play and their rotations. So plays like this looking good from them as a squad.
Yeah, so again, this is the replay. ReignOver was already in the 100 Thieves jungle, so he got to use the blast cone and come here for the surprise. He landed the ultimate, then he got the passive stuns, and there's the flash from Biofrost, who roamed up on Taric and able to secure the kill for themselves. It's just barely over 1,000 gold lead now for Counterlogic Gaming. Meteos getting his deep vision down, though, on Jax.
And you know, you were talking about how at the very beginning of this, when we were introducing the players and the teams, Zix has been with CLG for a long time, been the coach, the planner, kind of the mind behind all of this for a long time now. And the draft so far seems to be coming together in a coherent plan, right? You've got the Ezreal, like you said, that's able to stay down there and hold his own, allowing Biofrost to roam, to set up the plays, and you've got the damage potential from Huhi, and CLG seems to have come into this game with a plan in mind, and they're executing to that plan as they intend.
Yeah, and they're also adapting well to just what's occurring in the game. You can lay the best of plans, but League of Legends, since it changes so much from decision to decision and minute to minute in the game, everything has to be adaptable, and that's one of the biggest things here. Is CLG have jumped on the two opportunities that have shown themselves, the top lane as well as that mid lane. But that does not mean that 100 Thieves are out of this, and they're looking to create a play for themselves. As we said, Meteos had gotten the deeper vision down already, and now with this control war, they're trying to clear out some of the defenses of CLG. The Thieves still definitely have a good shot here. Remember, they do have a Sion with their teleport advantage, and Ssumday right now is actually roaming away from the lane, so 100 Thieves might be looking to make a little bit of a play. I guess with the added defense there, they've called it off, and now Ssumday roaming right back up the top. Doesn't want to lose out on the minion wave.
Yep, Ssumday moving up there to catch that one for himself, working on some of that armor itemization. You can see him going for what appears to be a frozen heart here. Cooldown's very important on Sion. Also just so useful for making sure that Gnar's poke is going to be less and less effective as this goes on.
Yeah, you can tell CLG were expecting some sort of play on this big objective. First turret bonus gold. would be a big thing in putting 100 Thieves right back in there. And this bottom turret is the most likely next objective for them to go to. So ReignOver was hanging around for a counter gang, waited it out, but obviously we already knew that 100 Thieves had called it off.
Darshan continuing to maintain that lane control up top side here. Gnar with red buff is one of the only things scarier in lane than Gnar normally. So very big job that Ssumday's got ahead of him, having to deal with that one. Gets himself back into his own jungle. Taking a look at where the wards are right now placed around the map, you can still see a lot of 100 Thieves vision in the bottom part of the CLG jungle, making sure they're keeping eyes on whoever's rotating around there. If they're coming in for those counter ganks like you were talking about, or even if they just want to march somebody down through there, try to make a play towards bottom lane, they're really looking to keep Cody and Aphromoo safe here.
Yeah, that bottom turret is still this dangling, low-hanging fruit here. Only a few more shots. Tristana, one of the best at finishing them off as well with an explosive shot, so you got to think there's still going to be continued focus on this area of the map. Here comes the rest of the Thieves.
Move up here, binding into the wall, a little bit of damage onto ReignOver thanks to the electrocute with the meeps. Q plus a single auto attack, as long as it's enchanted with a meep, does give you the electrocute bonus, because meep counts as something different. Yep. The ball goes ReignOver.
Meep damage.
Yep. Got to get the meeps in there. Meteos pulls himself out of that one, but he does pop the ulti there, so should a fight break out really soon here, that Jax is going to be much more susceptible to getting bursted down than you would normally expect him to be. It is one reason why this champion functions in sort of that second tier tank that you were talking
off
about.
Tank,
yeah, sort of like off tank in the jungle that you were mentioning, because you get the health from the Cinder Hulk and the Trinity or the Warmogs or whatever you want to build, but you've also got resistances in the ulti, but Meteos not having that available to use right now. Drake still up for the taking. Mountain Drake is the first one this time around. Ryu pressuring on to the mid lane, trying to create a second opportunity potentially for the Thieves to go for if they want that turret first blood.
And we still have this standoff in the bottom lane. CLG just desperately trying to protect the last little remnants of that bottom turret, and 100 Thieves very calmly keeping the pressure up. You know, they aren't rushing anything. They just continue to farm out that quadrant of the jungle, clear out all of the vision, and inflate those vision scores.
CLG doing a good job playing defense around this. When you have your turret sitting at 10% HP for so long, generally, you're going to see the thing go down rather quickly, but because of the rotations they've made, because of the defensive position they've taken, things have gone pretty well for them. Cody Sun forced back now. Those stuns, again, ever so punishing when you do run into him. Picks up a couple of cups of cocoa there to heal off a little bit of it. Gets himself back over about 2/3 HP. He'll continue healing up as he drinks that refillable potion. Static Shiv done on the Tristana versus the Mana Moon and Sheen combination on Stixxay's Ezreal. And remember, we've seen the Tristana Ezreal matchup so many times in the meta right now. ReignOver getting himself back away from Ryu and Meteos here. But that Tristana Ezreal matchup, Ezreal's looking for that mid-game power. Tristana going to be very scary as this game scales later and later. TP's coming in. This may just be the fight. But
they're out of there.
Magical journey right back over the wall.
Meteos with the instant flash. I am out of here. And they do have the extra teleport. That's why it occurred. Ssumday had just used his previously back to top side, so he wasn't going to go.
Oh! Very nice. Who needs a stop?
Exactly.
I'm okay with that. If he would have just cast that, turned into a golden statue and got away, but that was all skill. Stixxay now might be in some trouble. Pops his own golden statue, trying to get away from this one, but a very nice ulti. Meteos bonks him with the jack stick. And now can they find another? Biofrost flashing his way over the wall, trying to get out from this one. The blast cone's going to be taken by both him and Cody. The stun won't hit the mark. He's all out of summoners and all out of time. Cody Sun grabbing the kill.
Yeah, he does get the kill in the end. He jumbled a little bit of that tower dive there. But in the end, 100 Thieves grabbed the tower that they've been working at for the last 8 minutes. They're able to get the kills, and they're going to get this Mountain Drake.
That he wins the race.
Exactly like you're saying, right? You want to see the outplays. You want to see the skill here. Ryu doesn't need no staking stopwatch.
Get that out of here.
He dodges the ultimate, gets right back in, and that was a beautiful escape. Meanwhile, bottom side, Aphromoo, magical journeys in, flashes over to try and get Stixxay. Then, really, really nicely done ultimate there, just on the tip to take the tower damage out of the equation, so that even though Cody Sun, yeah, he ulted him away before he died there, and the heal comes in, and we see that a lot where the heal bait kind of causes a lot of problems for Lee Sins and Tristanas alike.
Oh yeah, all sorts of fun in there. Any sort of mechanic that knocks the guy away from you. But yeah, I talked about how Bard's fun to watch because he's going to do something really good or really bad a lot of the time. Well, that was really good. Perfectly placed ultimate coming out there from Aphromoo, 100 Thieves. Now looking to take this objective advantage up a notch as they look for the tier 1 turret in the top lane. They're still only up 600 gold, despite the fact that they got that turret first blood, because of the fact that CLG does have advantages in terms of the farm. If you're looking at top lane, mid lane even, jungle pretty much even. Huhi with the package, though, means that 100 Thieves have to be careful about what they try to force, how aggressive they try to play. That Corki package, if nothing else, is just a slow down kind of a sign. It's a yellow light saying you better be careful.
I mean, it's a giant horn, too. You got this warning horn that comes out, so everybody knows the yellow light is here. Slow down. And yellow light in League of Legends means you actually stop. You don't rush through the yellow light.
This isn't the yellow light that means speed up. This is the yellow light for what it's supposed to mean by traditional traffic laws.
Yes.
Just slow down.
Safety first, friends.
Exactly. Drive safe out there. Huhi gonna be knocked back by Cody Sun, trying to grab plenty of damage there. Nearly kills the CLG mid laner, but a couple more auto attacks would have been required. ReignOver moving back towards his own camps as Baron spawns up, so yet another opportunity on the table.
Yeah,
to find the chance.
The 100 Thieves should stick to the game plan, though. I like that they're still pressuring turrets. This should be a chain reaction of turret gold just flooding into their base right now, because top lane, they've got 3 members. They can push this one down, then they can transition over to mid, and once you get this full outer ring of turrets advantage, that's when 100 Thieves can start to look for the jungle invades, you know, Aphromoo here on the bar, trying to create the plays and pick people off in transition between those objectives.
That's what I always look to see a team do. As soon as all 3 of those outer turrets go down, set the vision up. But ReignOver coming here into the mid lane, looking to stop these guys. Meteos on the front line, jumping backwards with the counter-strike. Ryze ulti gonna take him a portal out of there. Aphromoo, nice stun onto 2. Gotta give him the mastery emote after that or something.
Nah, this is all just a regular day in the office for Aphromoo. Bard
Par for the course. Par for the course. He's been doing a good job on that champion here so far. One we tragically don't get to see a lot of these days, but
choo-choo.
All right, he gets
Mech
out.
Zero is the
Mech
name of the
Zero.
skin, by the way.
It's a cool one. I like that one. I still want to see that interaction you were talking about, having him drive right through the Ryze portal, but that's going to be tricky.
I'm not sure, like, the best use case for that, but I know it would look cool.
Best use case is it would look really, really cool, and we want to see it on air.
I actually also want to see it look really dumb, where he pops out on the other side of the portal and like runs into the wall or something.
You just gate him right into the enemy fountain. He just bonks himself.
There's
plenty of possibilities, Kobe. There's plenty of possibilities.
I love the ultimates in the game that can make you look like a genius or a complete dum-dum.
That's what I'm talking about with Bard.
That's
we
why
can throw Sion in that same category.
It's also why I play a lot of Fiddlesticks. Because Fiddlesticks, you can just look like a complete joke or the savior.
Or
Cody
the
Sun
hero
here,
of the game.
He's baiting. See if he's baiting too hard, though.
Cody wants to get out of this one. Instead, the stun finds its way onto Aphromoo. Not enough tricks in the book to get him out this time.
Yeah.
30 seconds on the death timer. CLG pushes up.
Cody Sun had a nice little hop and turn around ult from Trist to get out, but Aphromoo no such case.
Darshan takes quite a lot of damage there from the turret and from his opponents. 100 Thieves looking to hold this one, but can't quite do it. That's CLG's first turret this game. Brings it back to under 1,000 gold.
Yeah, this one is definitely a slobber knocker here. Very close. CLG strikes back right after. 100 Thieves were able to get all the outer turrets, and it was on the brink of snowballing ahead. But the key here, when you're able to get that outer turret lead, the difficult part for me is always the transition, because you want to reset, get back to base, and purchase with your gold lead. But in resetting, you usually will give up a lot of territory where the other team either gets vision. Exactly. Tempo is a word that people use quite often. Sometimes it gets a little bit muddled, but good ultimate here from ReignOver. He throws it right past the Tristana and hits Aphromoo. Sometimes you argue about, oh, he was aiming for the Tristana in there or whatever, and he got lucky, but nah. Time goes to the runner. He was aiming for the Bard. He hit the Bard and secured the kill.
Speaking of secures, Meteos secures the enemy red buff there as 100 Thieves move into CLG territory. Living up to their names, stealing away those buffs. You can see Stixxay trying to make an effort to get it away with a true shot barrage, but sadly he doesn't have his Apollo cosplay on, so no stealing away those neutral monsters with the Ezreal ulti. Meteos still hanging around this Baron buff. You can see vision control of this area being exerted by 100 Thieves. This is what we were talking about earlier, Kobe, with having that entire outer ring of turrets down. You can place that vision up there, start to choke your opponents out of their own jungler. If nothing else, at least play mind games, make them guess, are they going to be waiting there? What kind of precautions do we have to take?
Well, they've got a package to deliver, and they want Aphromoo to be the recipient, but he's kiting back into his own jungle here, and CLG just going to move their own way. I would expect them to actually secure Dragon with that extra pressure, but it looks like they're spreading back out, just sending Huhi top and gonna 1-3-1, split it, get the minions pushed back out first.
Ssumday continuing to farm up there in the side lane. Frozen Heart did get completed along with the Abyssal Mask, which even though Sion doesn't do a lot of magic damage of his own, yeah, he's an Aurabot. Old school style, but oh! Aphromoo not having a good time on that one. Cody Sun now under threat from Huhi in the 1 versus 1 there. Doesn't want to take that fight right now. Got Ryu behind him, but still has to disengage overall. CLG with a pickup for themselves, but what do they do with it?
Well, he's going to get stunned up, but they should be fine.
Meteos having a retreat after that one. Does a little bit of damage onto Huhi, but nothing that's going to stick through a little bit of fleet footwork. Blowing up the blast cones just to make sure that nobody has any extra pathing routes as you move through the jungle, and that's something I always try to do, and something I always look at when I see players invading the enemy jungle, and when you come across the plants, get rid of them.
You're just a gardener jungler there for Captain Flowers. You play Skarner only. Definitely thematic.
Yeah. Gnar doesn't have any dashes. I don't need any dashes from blast cones. I'm not used to playing with these advanced mechanics. Just get rid of them.
Just get rid of all of them. No jumps. I'm still curious about this Cloud Drake, though. I feel like a lot of it was stalled out because Aphromoo keeps getting hit with these really well-placed ReignOver ultimates. You know, ReignOver keeps catching him out, Sejuani ult, and Bard definitely is a good target for that, but it's kind of stalled it out for 100 Thieves, and they haven't really been able to transition from full outer ring into any sort of mid-game control for the objective. CLG now actually the ones with the gold lead themselves, and they've started peaking here. We've got the double Trinity Force. You know, Static Shiv is already done for Corki as well. Oh, here we go. Once again.
Starting off, but Aphromoo is going to be caught right there at the start. Stixxay going to be taken very low here. Not quite going to die of the explosive charge. CLG still looking to make some more moves. Meteos counter-strike up and running, but it's Ryu who's going to be in a bad spot, having to flash away. Stun comes through. Biofrost looking to lock him down, but he will not have the damage in time. CLG ends up walking away 1-for-0 on that fight.
Yeah, that was actually very close. Stixxay almost died through the explosion right there on top of his head in a counter kill. But in the end, CLG walk away with the single kill onto Aphromoo.
And they get some more here. Another stun connects, but not quite enough follow-up there. CLG keep finding these small victories, but what are the prizes for the small victories, Kobe? There's not an objective
you get to teach Aphro a lesson for leaving the team.
All right.
It's funny that it's ReignOver who's the one catching him most of the time here. Stixxay took so much damage, by the way, because he arcane shifted in to finish that kill on Aphromoo, his former lane partner. Then his heal barely saves him and gives him enough life. But in the end, you're right. There aren't objectives being taken afterwards, aside from killing the old shot caller of the squad and trying to make him regret his Bard pick.
All right. I want to note, because I always like to check in at this point whenever the champion hits it, Cody Sun's Tristana at that mythical 3-item Tristana power spike where this champion starts to really come online, really become that huge transitioning into late game threat. 2 Zeal Evolutions, 1 Infinity Edge. This is where things get scary. Look across the table. Trinity Force, fully evolved Mana Moon, working on the pieces to a Blade of the Ruin King for Stixxay, but it's just not going to be the same level of damage output. 100 Thieves rushing down the Baron. CLG not anywhere nearby. Not yet. The secure from Meteos.
And the reason they went for this rush, they had the timer on Darshan's teleport. They know that Gnar showing up in the bottom lane is a huge oversight from CLG in their lane allocations. This is 28 minutes into a game versus a team that has a Mountain Drake. You can't be sending your Gnar bottom and giving up vision of a teleportless champion when the other team can rush right over to Baron. So huge props to 100 Thieves for jumping on that opportunity, but definitely an oversight as well as far as the communication breakdown that probably went down there with CLG.
Yeah, an error from CLG, a good call from 100 Thieves. There was good and bad involved from the two teams together that made it happen. But for 100 Thieves, what really matters now is that bottom line, getting this secured.
Yeah. Is it a good attempt there from the Arc Ezreal ultimate?
Two-shot barrage. Close enough. It shoots out in an arc. Your heart was in the right place.
It's because of the skin. Yeah, I think the Star Guardian skin is going to give it a different name.
I think now that Skarner's popular, we're going to get Star Guardian Scar. Never mind, we're going to have an engage. ReignOver looking to maybe lock down Cody Sun, takes him very low. Taric ulti coming through. CLG looking to make this fight happen even further. Meteos nearly dead. Huhi trying to make the moves, does end up securing that kill. Turret goes down though. Darshan actually the one to grab the 300 gold from Meteos' death.
That's a huge counter-strike from CLG, grabbing the kill onto Meteos here. The Baroned up team pushing a little bit aggressively, and they just jumped right on him, finishing up the extra kill and putting a very quick stop to that Baron-empowered push.
That's one of the best things you can do for yourself, honestly, when your opponents have that Baron, when you feel like you've kind of lost control of the game, when the momentum is theirs. Getting that kill is going to shut that down so quickly and just allow you to get your footing. That feels so good for CLG. They've got room to breathe a little bit here.
Yeah, positioning is so important when teams get a little bit of lax. We've seen punishment very quick here from both sides, honestly. Still a lot of deep vision that was left behind by 100 Thieves up in CLG territory, so it's not the worst thing that has happened. They still have some time here with the Baron buff, and there's an Infernal Drake on the way, so they're trying to transition a lot of their resources down to the Infernal Drake, which will be the next big objective that pops up. Control wards go down. They're trying to get full awareness here on the bottom side of the map.
Infernal Drake still about 4 minutes away, so 100 Thieves, knowing that they've got Baron for about another 60 seconds or so, want to at least transition that into this tier 2 here. They're going to set up shop, allow Cody Sun to get a few auto attacks into that one, utilizing both the range and the damage of the Tristana. That's nearly level 18 at this point. Only 2 more to go, means that that range has had time to build up through the passive. 100 Thieves, though, we talked about this team, and CLG too, honestly, at the beginning of this game. The macro is what we were looking at. Looking to see these teams rotate better, maneuver around the map better, coordinate better. And so far, I believe this game, it's been 100 Thieves who have had the better rotations, who have played better around the map as they're able to find the stun onto Huhi. ReignOver looking to move in, maybe find some CC here. But very nice ulti from the Bard, going to be removing a lot of the effect of that Taric ult. And CLG is going to lose one right at the outset. Biofrost going to make it 2. Ssumday still looking to lock down even more. The Ryze ulti comes in. Darshan going to be CC'd up a little bit here. One more auto attack, will not be able to find him in time, but CLG in full retreat with the 3 remaining members' health bars blinking red.
Aphromoo gets a little revenge there in the form of a team fight victory, and that is also going to be in the form of an inhibitor turret going down. Probably the inhibitor soon to follow. Stixxay comes out to try and answer, though.
CLG need to try to hold this line as long as they can. That bottom lane inhibitor is the one that you want to lose the least of all. Darshan landing the boomerang onto Ryu, but it's still a 3 versus 5. CLG, you gotta be careful about these things. There comes the Sion Express, but Ssumday ends up giving a killing spree over to Huhi. Darshan may still be looking for something here, decides against it. 100 Thieves lose 1 and back away.
Whoops-a-daisy, got baited in there. Ssumday does take the last stop, but in the end, they got what they wanted. So this was so close right here. The Taric ultimate coming down. Aphromoo actually the Bard ultimate a little bit earlier, 0.5 seconds maybe, would have been able to nullify more of the Taric ultimate, but it was really just to keep them in place because the tower only had 1 more shot on it. So all 100 Thieves wanted was to keep them in place a little bit longer to finish up these kills for the re-engagement. And that was very well done by them to gain control of the bottom side. They still did leave the inhibitor up though.
Now it's another fight and another catch onto Aphromoo. Death number 4 this game, Kobe. They are showing no mercy to their former teammate.
Man, ReignOver is a man on a mission. He's the new shot caller, and he's going to make Aphromoo.
Hey, old shot caller, I'm the new shot caller. I'm calling the shot to take you out. They are not letting this guy survive any chance they get, keeping him down as much as possible. 2-1 and 5 on ReignOver Sejuani.
Yeah, it's also the fact that Bard is a squishy champion and a great target for picking out.
He's a little bit less squishy than normal. He has an Iceborne Gauntlet and a Negatron Cloak, and
that's true.
It's a bit of a different build from what you would normally see, but he has had a couple of fantastic ults so far, so Aphromoo is the expert on Bard here, not me. I am not here to judge Aphromoo builds. I love Sheen-based items.
I just get lost after I see the little penguin meeps falling around. So cute. Even if
They are the
go
best
down.
meeps.
Let's take a look at the next spawn. That Infernal we were talking about and a lot of the vision that 100 Thieves put down maybe about a minute ago. Some of it's still classier in the blue quadrant of CLG's jungle, but a lot of it is being cleared out. And CLG have started to retake a lot of territory over here by this objective. Gold's still very, very close here, so the team fight definitely could swing their way. It's about, can they time this Gnar ultimate? Can they start it out with the ReignOver Sejuani stun into a well-timed Taric ultimate that doesn't get negated by a Bard?
And I'm really enjoying the fact that this game that we were looking so heavily at the macro has now become so close because these teams have gone blow for blow. It's coming down to the micro. Let's see how they play it out now. The stun into the lockdown. The Bard ulti to buy some time for Ssumday. He pops the shield. He's still going to be taken out. Stixxay grabbing the kill on that one. CLG looking to kite themselves back until the dead body goes away. Package delivered straight into the river there, about to time out, so they can't really get any more use out of that one. Moving towards the Infernal Drake. CLG sees an opportunity, but at the same time, you've got to respect that Baron will be spawning only 5 seconds from now. 100 Thieves showed they could rush it already. You don't want to give them that opportunity the second time. Instead, Huhi solos down Infernal. Now all of CLG can work together here. Huhi coming up over the wall, trying to grab something here. Ryu going to be forced to burn 2 summoner spells, get himself away from that one.
That's definitely a very big swing in momentum. CounterLogic Gaming capitalized on another great engagement from ReignOver. You said Sejuani ultimates have been very well timed. It was perfect with the Gnar bar charging up. And now with the extra man advantage, they're starting up the Baron, forcing 100 Thieves to come to them.
All right, the Thieves have to try to fight this one. Meteos going to be forced away by Huhi there. A lot of damage coming out from the Corki. Ssumday going to use the TP, working his way in. Baron down to 2K. Meteos wants in to look to be able to steal this one out. Can he do it? No! Stixxay on a killing spree there as 100 Thieves cannot stop the Baron. Sion trying to get himself away. Ryze will take the portal. Ryu and Ssumday both getting away from that one, but it's CLG's day.
Everyone took their own route home. Bard, re-engage.
Okay, 100 Thieves still looking to make the moves. It's Aphromoo that sets up the stun. Darshan goes down here. 2 fantastic moves from the 100 Thieves support. The crowd said it perfectly, Kobe. That was so close.
Yeah, clutching pretty tight on that one. Biofrost, the Baron empowered recall does complete it, but 100 Thieves not letting CLG get away without an answer there. What a re-engagement from Aphromoo. Recognizing the double recall had already taken place, they still had the numbers. This game has been a back and forth, definitely a long one here, and we are not near the tipping point yet, even though the Baron buff still remains for half the members of CLG. Look at this replay here. Bard ultimate into the double Bard stun. Just so nice. It's been highs and lows for this Bard pick from Aphromoo. He's constantly getting picked off from ReignOver's ults, but still he's making big Bard plays. So definitely a double-edged sword so far.
We'll have to see which way that sword ultimately ends up swinging. These two teams, we said it at the start, 4 and 5, 3 and 6. They're both hanging around that area that's just on the cusp of being eligible for playoffs. Here, once we get to the end of the spring split, when it's this close between all these teams, we can talk about how awesome of a match this is and how it's back and forth, blow for blow. But at the end of the day, somebody walks away with a win on their record and somebody walks away with a loss. And that could end up determining who gets to go to playoffs and who doesn't. No matter how close it is, no matter how much you and your opponents are evenly matched, you've got to find a way, find some advantage, find some weakness in what they're doing, because every single one of these matches is worth so much right now with CLG pushing up with that Baron buff, trying to break the tier 2 line.
That's some Vin Diesel speech stuff right there. If you win by an inch or you win by a mile.
Yeah.
Oh, CLG go for an
furious.
But Aphromoo dodges it this time.
Cody Sun gonna be taken low, but Huhi dying to the crit. Can they find anything else? Darshan gonna be locked up now. The counterattack from the Thieves is full force. Furious Aphromoo grabbing the kill onto Biofrost. There comes your portal. Stixxay running for dear life, trying to get away from the 5-man collapse. Ryu, Cody Sun, Aphro still in hot pursuit. Cody wanting to go over the wall here. Can he find anything?
Yeah, he's finding his buddy Darshan over here to lead him the way through the forest to the other side. 100
Take
Thieves
my hand, I'll show you the way.
chasing him.
Ssumday still after this one. Darshan gonna be bound up in the rune prison. Destiny not quite finding the mark for you. Still trying to chase after this one. CLG are escape artists.
Are you kidding me? Darshan walks forward, dodges the Sion knockup, gets his hyper proc, walks right back out. Two of them do escape. This should not overshadow that 100 Thieves just got a very good engagement, though.
No.
Cody Sun completely pops Huhi there. They get the explosion and a very nice chase down. Even though, then right on their back foot, CLG do mimic a miraculous escape. But here's how it started out. Aphromoo flashes this one, and then they make a huge play onto Huhi here, who tries to 1v5, but Cody Sun with the crit, able to take him down, and that means Ssumday's coming for it. Train right down the middle, gets the hard engage, and the extra kills are picked up.
Great fight from the Thieves. Great retreat from the remaining members of CLG at the end of it there. Again, just reinforcing, it's blow for blow every single time. Neither one of these teams wanting to give away this win here today. Elder Dragon spawning just over a minute now. 2 Drakes on the side of CLG, 1 on the side of 100 Thieves, and a tragic Baron power play of negative 402 gold for CLG. Generally, Baron power plays
They were two gold off from the 404 Baron power play.
But when your guys die right as you pick the buff up, it's generally hard to make money from that one.
Yeah, can't say much except unlucky after that one. That or maybe Huhi no 1v5 next time. Aphromoo is looking for another pick, though. This game has been constant. Openings being capitalized on very quickly by the other teams. It seems as soon as they make a good play, the other team is quick to catch them out. And now they're surrounded on all sides. Huhi does have a package here for CLG, but 100 Thieves are looking for it.
Gotta be so careful with that package. It creates such a massive zone of control once delivered. 2-shot barrage fired off. Stixxay just kind of looking to find any extra damage here. Elder Dragon still 15 seconds away. Baron just under 2 minutes. If you get to the point where they're both up, you can make a trade in those objectives, but when there's only one, that's the name of the game, Kobe. All right, package expended. Thieves feel a lot more comfortable. Ooh, tricky rush. Nope.
I'm trying to keep my eyes on the big initiation tools here during this walk.
All right, there you go. You got one. ReignOver looking to go in right now. Ssumday going to be the one who eats the ult at the start. Can they find what they're looking for? Nice 4-man decimate. Darshan going to be the target. Ssumday too, still getting himself away, somehow still alive. Nobody dies on either side. The tanks absorb so much damage.
Trading a lot of cooldowns here. Bard ultimate for Taric ultimate. Re-engage opportunity is there for Darshan. He has teleport on the Gnar. He's coming back in a defensive teleport, though, and they might just try and use this positioning to go for that Elder Dragon. There's another 57 seconds left on Baron, so no trade is available right now.
CLG seeing 100 Thieves a little bit far up. Counter-Strike already going to be used there from Meteos, taking a magical journey through the Wraith Wall to get himself out. Well placed by Aphromoo, making sure they don't lose their jungler there. Would have almost certainly been giving away Elder Drake if they did. CLG has priority over the Elder Drake area. Now looking to make a play maybe once more. ReignOver has the ulti yet again. Ssumday locked up. Unstoppable as he tries to escape. 100 Thieves. Got to be careful with this one. CLG having the advantage for now. Aphromoo not landing the stun.
Yeah, 100 Thieves are taking a beating here. The health bars are definitely in the advantage of CLG, but no kills have landed, and you still have to respect the damage possibilities from them. Ssumday does have his Warmogs, heals right back up on that Sion, even though he had to use his ultimate and won't be able to get the cooldown back.
This is just back and forth and so many engage attempts, but the top lane being pressured by the minions.
The minions are more objective focused in this game than the teams themselves. Minions have been pushing top and bottom for both teams, trading turrets. Another inhibitor turret about to fall here on the bottom side. This one for CLG. The minions doing work while all the players are trying to 5-on-5.
Minions MVP. The players are marching down mid lane to fight each other. The minions are the ones split pushing. Everything's topsy-turvy this time around. Another ReignOver ulti, this time finding its way onto Aphromoo. That's your kill. Way easier to kill him than it is to get Ssumday. Darshan, Gnar finding nothing. 100 Thieves now 4 versus 5. Elder live, Baron live, CLG looking to grab Ssumday here. The stun, yeah, he ain't live no more. Stixxay grabbing the kill onto him. The passive not gonna do a lot right here. CLG now deciding where they want to go with this one. They've got themselves 28 seconds until Aphromoo's back up. 100 Thieves might be baiting a trap right now. True shot barrage comes out. If they get Huhi, that's going to be real big. 100 Thieves still having a chance to stop this momentum. It never ends, Kobe. It never ends. Stixxay low on mana. Already popping the arcane shift. Meteos can't quite find a counter-strike. He doesn't need it. The Rune Prison on the mark. Stixxay still looking to run away. Meteos has another stun ready to go. Not quite going to be finding it just yet. Stixxay on the run. Meteos on the retreat. Nearly brought down, but not quite. They stop the Elder. 100 Thieves somehow get away.
This is the meta I like. The 100 Thieves counter logic gaming meta, where they are just going hard battling all game long. 44 minutes into the game, we've got
300 gold apart.
Baron is the next target here for 100 Thieves as CLG pulled off the Elder Dragon and went back to reset. There's no vision for him, and 100 Thieves in the end are gonna claim it.
They rushed it down once, why not do it twice? What a play from the Thieves. Now they've got themselves set up. They've got push power, they've got control, they've got a whole 800 gold lead.
Look at that
That's
flock
not a
of
lot.
penguins, too.
They got a bunch of damn penguins following that Bard around. There's got to be at least 6 of them in there.
All right, now they're going to be empowered penguins with the extra Elder Dragon.
Burn, baby, burn. 100 Thieves have every tool on the Rift in their pocket. Elder Drake, Baron buff, penguins. If you can't win with that, you're going to be hard-pressed to find a way. They've got 2 exposed inhibitors thanks to those MVP minions we were talking about before. Let's see what they can do with it. CLG are going to be on the defensive for a while.
All right, set me up here. We have some defensive vision for Counter Logic Gaming. They're the ones in the tight spot. They're trying to clear up minions. They're trying to buy some time here. A lot of these buffs here for 100 Thieves are going to give them a huge advantage. But Huhi, with the package, has the confidence that if he sees any sign of initiation, he just hits that panic button, goes with the eject right back up the lane, and he'll be able to escape. So he goes and clears the more dangerous minion wave to try and buy themselves a little bit of time. Every minion wave, another 30 seconds is what that's going to buy you, and that is very meaningful. That's how CLG are living right now. 30 seconds to 30 seconds. But 100 Thieves are looking to come into this sucker right through the bottom lane.
18 minutes ago, I talked about how Tristana hit her 3-item spike. Now, Tristana at 6 items. Not one of those is a boot. Cody Sun is very, very threatening right now. You give him free firing time on anybody, it's gonna hurt like crazy. CLG, quite a task in front of them. Positioning 5 men strong to defend the exposed inhibitor. But against an Elder Drake, it's harder than ever.
And again, there are 5 members here at the standoff, but look at the minions. Counter Logic Gaming minions have a triple stacked wave heading for another turret. So 100 Thieves, they just want to ram this inside the base and finish it.
Battering ram finds its way onto the inhibitor, but not any further. The Magical Journey says 100 Thieves are backing away from this one.
They've got the double buffs. They're now going to time out with just 1 inhibitor taken. 100 Thieves actually going to go for a reset here. Looks like they don't want the minions to finish off the secondary turret. I mean, top lane, though, is another exposed inhibitor, and this temporary power of a Baron plus Elder Dragon is not going to be long-lived. These things are going to time out very quickly here, and CLG are going to get another chance. 50 seconds left on that for 100 Thieves.
If you're CLG and your opponents have both Uber buffs on the map and all you lose is a single inhibitor, I'd call that a win.
All right, well, they've got another swing at it. 40 seconds left there for 100 Thieves with the extra buff power.
But the Elder is gone. Only Baron remains. Combat power going to be significantly lessened without that burn.
And it comes down to the keystrokes. Who is going to get the initiation? ReignOver has had Aphromoo's number most of this game, finding him with constant ults, but now Aphromoo has a QSS, so maybe he takes it on purpose.
Maybe he gets out of it. Let's see. It all comes down to the individual outplays, the mechanical skill. This is how I want to see the game decided. 100 Thieves pushing into the CLG base, Baron expiring now.
And a bunch of minions for 100 Thieves on the bottom side due to the super minions helping out.
100 Thieves playing this one very slowly, very cautiously. realizing they've got the advantage right now, not wanting to overcommit to anything, fall into a ReignOver trap, get somebody ulted that can't afford to be ulted. They push back onto the inhibitor now as Darshan moves over, trying to deal with those super creeps pushing up. 100 Thieves still not willing to go for any kind of a crazy engage just yet. We'll get Stixxay to force out the arcane shift. Meteos getting a little bit of damage there onto the inhib. The stun comes down, finding its way onto Meteos, but it's going to be ReignOver in the front line, taking the brunt of the damage for now. Taric ulti out is a massive cooldown.
Very well played by 100 Thieves. They know they've got the minions working for them, and they kite out the Taric ultimate. Now they just have to finish off the inhibitor.
100 Thieves playing the macro game right, being aware of where the minion waves are, being aware of exactly how far they need to go, how far back they need to stay. Now they're getting themselves back with 2 lanes of inhibitors down. You can back up, get ready to push up yet again. This is what we wanted to see from this team, Kobe. This is this team working together as a coherent unit, making plays across the map as well as individually. We've seen the Bard ults, we've seen Cody Sun do the damage. The man's got 10 out of 10 KP, no deaths.
He's got full items, as you said a while ago, so farming has no effect for the AD carry here for 100 Thieves. They just want to get into the base, run it straight up the mid lane here, and again, patience is key. They have to have cooler heads here at 50 minutes into the game. Double super minions marching up both sides there for them, and they just need to keep the pressure on Counter Logic Gaming and force the move out of them.
Counter Logic Gaming found themselves in a similar situation yesterday, being out macroed, stuck inside their base, and just losing inhibitors, being forced into a situation they could not win. Now it's 100 Thieves stepping up, putting them in that same situation yet again. And for CLG, you've got to ask yourselves, can we get out of this? Yesterday we couldn't. Is there a way out from this one? It's a difficult situation to come back from. They are very close in terms of overall gold, but the pressure on the map, there's no comparison.
They have to jump on any opening they see. If ReignOver gets the slightest angle on one of those carries, he just has to take it. The time is working against CLG, and 100 Thieves are happy to make them feel the burn.
Ezreal 2, 6 items on this AD carry, but it's not quite a Tristana. Ryu gonna be in
Ryu.
some trouble. ReignOver goes for the flash ulti, flash away from Ryu there as well. Now ReignOver rooted up, 100 Thieves looking to move in on this one. Meteos, though, going to be dissuaded from going any further because he was taken so low.
No Sion ultimate used here from Ssumday, and CLG with a little loop-de-loop buy themselves some more time. They clear out the minions and haven't lost any more structures. Honestly, that's a very good defense for Counter Logic Gaming. 100 Thieves, though, they've sent Ryu back to base. They're still at it here, trying to get back out on the map. At this point, 25 seconds on Baron means they're going to take this next objective and have to push with purple.
I'm so happy with this game, Kobe. We got to see 100 Thieves out-macro their opponents, take over the map, do well in that regard, but CLG controlling the defensive situation well. It's a very difficult hand to be dealt, but they're playing it as well as you could imagine is possible right now. But you've got to defend against another Baron push.
Aphromoo looking for the
gonna
Bard
be rough.
ult.
ReignOver comes over the wall. Ssumday the only one in range for now. Aphromoo trying to get away from this one. Has the QSS, but now it's going to be the back line of CLG that may be in some trouble here. Biofrost having to pop the ulti. 100 Thieves backing themselves away. The damage coming in. CLG, plenty of offensive power here. The redemption comes through. Ssumday still going to be tanking. Stoneplate active. Meteos hops away. CLG going to claim the victory in that fight, but remember, Warmogs are going to be ticking.
Yeah, the front line sustaining damage doesn't mean much, but Aphromoo sustaining damage means the Bard will be low. He also doesn't have Tempered Fate to use on this Baron, so it's getting burned down.
Baron going down very quickly. Meteos over. Oh, he steals it! 100 Thieves with a very important steal away. Cody Sun grabbing a kill, a double. Huhi might just be the triple.
Oh
More damage
God.
coming through. The shutdown is there, but 100 Thieves performing the heist of a lifetime. They will take down CLG off the back of that.
It only takes one thief to steal the purple, and 100 Thieves are going to be able to take that Nexus right afterwards. After that entire game, the climactic steal here ends up in an ace and a victory.
What a showing from 100 Thieves on a micro perspective, on a macro perspective. They outplayed CLG and deserve this win.
Whew.
And for Aphromoo,
Let's not do it.
This is Revenge Part 2. This is now twice. He has defeated his old squad. And you can't say that he wasn't instrumental in doing it this time around either. So many Bard ults that were clutch in allowing 100 Thieves to make the plays they did and get to the point where they controlled the map in the way that they did.
And even bigger than that, the victory here for 100 Thieves after starting off the season so strong and lulling here for a little bit the past couple weeks. Definitely going to reinvigorate the team as a whole. And definitely invigorated me and the rest of the audience here. What an action-packed game.
Glad I had 3 water bottles.
ReignOver was landing ult after ult after ult on that Sejuani, pulling up picks for them, and kept it very, very close.
You can't say it wasn't a valiant effort from CLG. They put up one hell of a staunch defense. They were not going to go quietly as 100 Thieves took over the map, but at the end of the day, so much damage from Cody Sun, so many plays being made by Aphromoo. Honestly, the bottom lane from 100 Thieves seriously impressed me here today. The whole team working together well as that unit, like I talked about so many times, and Meteos at the end with the steal that wins the game.
Whew. Yeah, it was the steal and the fact that after that steal inside the Baron pit, they completely wiped the team fight. That was one of the most decisive team fights of the entire game, the very last one, because all members of CLG were clumped up on this Baron, focusing on getting it down, and once they were caught inside the pit, the kind of clean sweep there from 100 Thieves on top of the steal made a very exciting ending.
You couldn't ask for much better of an ending than that, but now we're going to send things down to Avli and 100 Thieves support Aphromoo.
Thanks, guys. Aphromoo, what a way to end that game. Picking up another win against your former teammates. What does today's win mean to you?
Recently been in a slump as our past 3 losses, but it's a good win for us to get under our belt, and I'm happy about how we played.
Now, there were some incredible team fights in the mid lane most of the game. What was going on through the team comms during those?
That game I had 6 deaths, so they could really only kill me. It was a little rough. That was my bad. But in the team fights, once there was a lot of things we had to go through, which is like if they engage, I'm going to Bard ulti, they're going to Taric ulti back up, you know what I'm talking about? So it's like very scary and like a fine line we had to play on. So I'm just happy that we all played really safe, and the times that they did pick me off feels really bad, but they had a really good team comp, so it was hard to play around.
And speaking to the slump that you mentioned before, in a pregame interview, Meteos mentioned that he felt frustrated with the way that the team was playing and unable to find one play style. What do you think is the reason for that, and how are you addressing it?
I just think we all have to get on the same page in terms of how we want to play. We got Ssumday in top lane, really known for playing carry top laners and stuff like that. How we're going to work around that as a team. Cody Sun as well, wants to play aggressive. I want him to play aggressive too. So it's all about a balance, and it's about us actually working on those things.
Maybe more specifically, how would you say that in-game decisions are made?
Everyone has really good calls. And there's a lot of time actually in League of Legends to make those calls. But most of the time when they are the split-second decisions, whoever can figure out what's the most important thing that we need to focus on in that moment, usually I try and look for that most of the time. But everyone on the team is pretty good at doing that. And all that matters is how we want to play from the beginning of the game and then execute that.
Well, Aphromoo, congratulations again. And for more on the game, let's hear from the analyst desk.
Thank you, Avli. 100 Thieves breaking a 4-game loss streak there with the win over CLG, which coincidentally pushes CLG to a 4-game loss streak. But in all reality, this was a messy, messy game from both squads. And 100 Thieves, lucky to be the team that kind of comes out on top of it.
We gotta watch this. Everyone pay attention to the blast cone and Stixxay autoing it, because even if you're gonna do this, the plan for CLG was to get out the back. But watch this. They shift over and Stixxay autos the blast cone, killing the rest of his team. It means Darshan has to flash out. It means ReignOver is done for, and that means they can't extend this game even longer. It was going to be rough for a lot of it, and I think we were kind of commenting during this game that this is how 100 Thieves wins. They don't necessarily beat you, they just keep the game going long enough so they don't lose.
So they have the worst time spent with a major gold lead, and they have the slowest average win time. So if you look at that goal graph, you see just a heart rate monitor As crazy stuff was happening all
Patient is
game.
very much still alive.
71,000
in this
damage
case.
by Cody
Did not
Sun, though.
flatline, I
Did
guess.
not flatline. The patient is alive.
Yeah, Cody Sun, once again, in any game that 100 Thieves wins, it goes forever. He eventually turns into Cody 1, carries the game. That happens again. But like we were saying, longest average game time for wins, as well as having the lowest time with major gold lead. So 100 Thieves, like we're saying, they don't win games, they outlast you. And that's where like their veteran status kind of kicks in, where like the game is a mess and they slowly just make a couple better decisions over the course of the game than their opponent.
In a sense, it's a battle of attrition, right?
Right.
We're basically just going to outlast you in the game. We even heard Aphromoo calling it out. The praise that he had for his team was their ability to take the pick, the singular pick, only give up that one kill, play it safe, wait for their next opportunity. On the flip side, for CLG, kind of struggling to make anything of those individual picks, right? They get Aphromoo. Now what?
Well, it's because they were Sejulting Aphromoo as well. So then they're never going to have anything for the follow-up initiation.
Right.
And their wave management was bad, so they were never able to actually siege turrets afterwards. And then their objective control was also lackluster because they were trailing into the fights. Like even a middle Baron fight where Huhi got picked up that could have, or Elder Dragon that could have switched the game, just so uncoordinated.
Right, and Mark, this is where I want to take another look at the standings as we move into the back half of the split. Take a look at the fact that we've got a 5-5 100 Thieves and TSM rounding out those 5th and 6th spots. But where I feel a couple days ago we were saying playoff picture feels relatively secure, all of a sudden there's some teams that are very much in danger at that bubble.
Yeah, a number of upsets happened over the course of today. It's basically upset day 2, and now Golden Guardians have a real chance to start pushing up here. They were sitting 1 game back between 2 teams once that final game of today happened. So they have a lot of ground to make up. TSM is following the standings. Clutch Gaming stepping up. Team Liquid falling. It's a complete reordering the past week and a half.
I can't believe those standings. Like, there's
Why'd you believe in CLG? I thought
or
you
TSM, who's 4 and 6. Like the league is partially upside down, and then even the teams that we thought were going to be, as you mentioned, the 6th place playoff teams, is completely uncertain. Golden Guardians at 2 wins, Optic at 3 wins, with a chance to go to 4 if they beat FlyQuest, would suddenly be tied with TSM for playoffs.
Right. Yeah. No.
Nuts.
I'm with you. And if you look at even, too, those recent losses that they took makes it all that much scarier. Because 100 Thieves has already lost to FlyQuest and Golden Guardians.
Nothing is safe.
Underneath them in the standings, right? So if you just take, recency and history into account, the repeat games against those teams underneath them in the standings become that much more important.
Man, yeah, because you can see the losing streak. It's not like they were playing.
You're not losing to Echo Fox,
Yeah.
C9, and Team Liquid. You're losing to teams below you in the two of the teams below you in the standings.
I think this is a very scary thing, not only for teams, but for Jat and I's predictions. Because
What do you mean?
we're 0-4 today, Jat. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, boys. We'll get there. Oh, we're there. So
there.
far today, you guys are 0-4.
I
with
was
your
4 and 1
predictions.
yesterday, Dad.
And here,
so
that's true. That's
still
true.
negative for the week.
All right, but
So-
here's the deal. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to change your mind ahead of the 5th game. And Mark, it
You
looks
changed
like,
your mind?
I changed my mind. I believe in my analysis.
Do you not have strength of conviction with FlyQuest?
No, I believe they'll win, but I don't want to see both of us go 0-5 today, so I'm willing to put myself up there. And so that way, at least one of us is guaranteed to go 1-4.
Mark is leaping in front of the bullet.
I'm trying to save the
lower
analyst
third.
desk from going 0-10. I'm like, no, Jet, if you get this wrong, we'll still be okay. I will have gotten it right.
Flip.
Flip, flop.
I
There
trust
it is.
my
for
analysis.
good
I
reason.
trust
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
There it is. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
FlyQuest
Okay.
got it.
Well, then ahead of that 5th game, now that you have gone and flop-floppitied, how do you call the victory for Optic?
To be fair, I think it's actually a lot closer than it was clearly a FlyQuest victory that was coming. Optic's been looking a lot better. Power of Evil and Arrow are stepping up, and it feels like they're finding their play style where top lane gave them a counter pick, good matchup, leave them on an island, and then focus elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, and I'm just super happy that FlyQuest put Stunt back in finally.
Yeah, that's
I think they're so much stronger with that setup.
That's a really good point.
I hope that they still have the synergy left, because I know it's really difficult for teams in these best of 1 environments to be constantly with. I mean, this team's played with a different jungler, different mid laner, different support.
Oh yeah, they're one of the few teams, the only team that's really
Stunt.
utilizing the sub roster, and we'll see how they do with Stunt back in the lineup. We're going to step away. When we return, we got our final game of the day, FlyQuest versus Optic Gaming. After that, Freak, Azale, and Zyrene will take to the stage for NALCS tonight, and we'll have an opportunity to answer some of your questions. So tweet them, your queries, using the hashtag NALCS. Don't go anywhere.